What's up, guys, and welcome back to Malt Mondays.
In Scotland, would you accidentally drive up to Talisker?
Today we're going to be taking a look at the Bruichladdich Black Art 4.1. This was the first Black Art that Jim McEwan produced when he took over as head distiller at Bruichladdich. So this is the 4th edition, and it's the first one Jim McEwan did. And this is 49.2% ABV. I don't know if it's cask strength exactly, or if it's still watered down somewhat to that ABV. Typically, if you have these unusual ABVs, it is cask strength. But that being said, 49.2 is a little low, so I'm not really sure there. Bruichladdich doesn't really provide much information on the Black Art series. It's kind of supposed to be the head distiller's art project they get to do each year, and they do what they supposedly only Jim McEwan knows what went in this bottle as far as sherry casks, ex-bourbon casks, whatever. So this is 23-year-old whiskey, so I've gone ahead and pre-poured it. And I did that because I didn't open this bottle too long ago, and also it's relatively full, so it hasn't had much time to breathe within the bottle. And with older whiskeys, you want to kind of let them breathe in the glass a good bit before tasting them, because those flavors are really going to open up. They tend to be really tight and concentrated at first and open up and be easier to taste after a few minutes. So I've gone ahead and pre-poured it. And, other than the fact that Bruichladdich is not really telling us anything about this whiskey, we know that they do mention that there's some sherry, influence, but that's kind of all that they give us. So, it's a beautiful, dark, russet color. I believe Bruichladdich doesn't use any artificial coloring, so that's a testament to both its age and some of the cask types used in it. But on the nose, the first thing is just this bouquet of fruitiness. You get sherry, you get wine kind of aromas, some grape. It makes me think potentially they used cognac barrels in this. There's definitely an aroma of the oak there, which I would expect for a 23-year-old whiskey. It's not super, super old, but I would definitely, I'm not surprised to be able to smell the barrel here a bit. A little bit of that warehouse aroma. There's prunes, there's cherry, and a little bit of a maltiness with like a little bit of citrus. That malty kind of citrus aroma is what I really associate with Bruichladdich. Kind of as their distillery character, they tend to produce a very malt forward spirit, in my opinion. And then there's typically a little hint of like lemon lime, not like Sprite, but. Man, this smells absolutely incredible. This is one of the most complex whiskeys I think that I've ever tasted, smelled. I mean, there's just so much going on here. There's a little bit of a cream, again with the barley note. A little bit of vanilla. So, those together really makes me think this is primarily ex-bourbon, primarily ex-sherry cask. But the grapey kind of wine, more winey kind of aromas makes me think there may be some French wine barrels, or like French cognac barrels, like maybe one or two of however many were used. there's something there that's not just a typical ex-bourbon or sherry barrel, I don't think. So let's see how it tastes. Wow, you really don't want to swallow swallow that. That is just absolutely delicious. Extremely packed with flavor. I'm getting raisins, cherry again. A little bit of like a brandy. Again, I'm getting a little bit of a grape kind of flavor that I associate with brandy or cognac. The maltiness is coming through, a little bit of spice. And then the finish, really, really nice soft tannins. Yeah, it's not bitter. There's no off notes at all. It doesn't taste like it's too old here. And that finish just it kind of leaves this fruitiness all around the roof of your mouth and around your lips. And then there's just this really, really nice, pleasant, soft, really, really beautiful finish on it. Man, this is really good. So I'm going to taste it again. And I forgot to mention, this is chill filtered. People debate whether or not that makes a difference. I typically find non-chill filtered whiskeys seem to have a little more of an oily, viscous mouthfeel. Not to the extent where I think it's possible in a blind taste to determine whether or not a whiskey is chill filtered or not. But I do it does seem to have a little bit of a textural difference. But really, the chill filtering, the natural coloring, I think the reason why it matters to a lot of us in the whiskey community is just because it's transparency. We want to taste the whiskey as close to the natural product in the barrel as possible. So whether or not, E150A coloring makes a difference in flavor isn't really the point. It's more of whether or not the distillery is being honest about it. And it's more of just bottle the product as it is, rather than trying to make it look like something it's not or processing it more than is necessary. But that being said, Bruichladdich is typically very transparent. This is one of the only whiskeys, by the way, they've produced that they aren't extremely forthright with all the information about it in terms of the age, the cask types, all that. They even go so far, as you'll see in some of the future videos, to talk about specifically which farms they're getting the barley from. So Bruichladdich is a brand. I love what they're doing. I love that they've kind of taken on a pseudo micro distillery kind of vibe of their approach to some of their whiskeys, but still producing a really high quality spirit here. And this was, in fact, produced well before Bruichladdich closed in the 90s. So this is still old Bruichladdich stock, what we're tasting here. But I have to say, if you're looking for a really complex, really nice special occasion dram, I highly recommend this. This one came out a few years ago. There's still bottles floating around. I've tasted a couple of the earlier Black Arts, like the 2.1, 3.1. I do, in fact, think they're slightly better than this one, but your chances of finding them are next to nothing. Do with that what you will. But this bottle is going to run you about $300 to $400, depending on where you find it. And it's one of the few that I think is worth that price. So if you've had this one, please let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. And come back next week. I'll be taking a look at the Bruichladdich 7.1. Cheers.